Hey guys, how are you? We're back on another episode.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to One More Day. We're so excited to have you guys joining us for yet another episode. We promised that we would be more consistent, so we are definitely back. And so, yeah,
Yes. Every episode is special, but this one is specifically special because
it
it's
is.
our wedding
And
anniversary.
we can't clear that song. Yes, guys, it is our,
What are you talking about? What song?
right, exactly. It is our 3 year anniversary of
Yeah.
being married. And
Yeah.
so we just wanted to reflect on the 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation, and just think about all the different things that are to discuss based on that reflection.
Yeah.
So,
And let you in on our few celebrations and
mhm.
thoughts. And hopefully you'll be able to share a little bit through your comments as well.
Yes, we
So,
appreciate all that you guys have been commenting
yeah.
and even the comments about like hearing One More Day exclusively audio. We're actually going to put the audio back up very shortly. Right now, it's strictly on YouTube, but you'll be able to hear it on streaming platforms yet again very, very soon. Even if maybe before this episode drops, maybe not, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So, honey, this is our third year
Yeah,
anniversary.
three
3 years
years.
in. We got married in March, so it's still almost
Right.
end of
So
March.
when
So
we post this, it's like a few days after, because our
yes,
actual anniversary is March 21st.
no,
March.
March 19th.
Oh,
Yeah, March 19th. Well, we got married March 12th. We had a wedding
officially.
officially. Had a church ceremony on the 19th.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, 21st. Where do you get you mix the
Yeah, I think it's because it's so close to my birthday.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's
You got
that's not an
talking to that
excuse.
mic. I don't want to have to edit later.
I'm not.
You were gonna go over here, so
Oh,
we got to
okay.
both be in it because,
I
yeah,
got you.
last episode we had some trouble with our audio, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys enjoying our trip to Africa. But my
Mm-hmm.
wife already knows. I'm like, I want you to be able to hear us.
Yeah,
So
he
yeah,
does all the editing, so I can just see his eye twitching, like, watching
yeah,
me what I'm doing.
yeah.
But yeah, 3 years in,
Mm-hmm.
how has marriage been like for you? Well, first of all, okay, so wedding is the time where we get together. We build a covenant
Mm-hmm.
before God that
Mm-hmm.
we want to be married. And
Mm-hmm.
then marriage is living the call,
Yeah.
right? So after 3 years of being married, how is marriage like for you? What is your understanding of marriage?
Well, marriage is certainly a true sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
of all things that you might have even anticipated to be a relationship. It is truly an all in, full time commitment. Yeah.
Sorry.
Why are you laughing?
It's just like I know my husband and the way he just said full time there.
It just is.
Sacrifice and full time,
It's a
so
full
emphasized.
yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
is. It is. I know you have some questions for me, but I want to just leave it at that. That's what
Okay.
about for you?
Well, yeah, definitely those words. And I would say marriage, my understanding of marriage is really a reflection of how God wants us to understand his love for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just had a quick picture the other day that, okay, for us, marriage is God loving all these people
Mm-hmm.
and unconditionally, no matter how they're
That
like,
agape love, right?
that agape love, but God still loves them with all his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how marriage is like. It's
Yeah.
like you love this person unconditionally. I know unconditional is such a cliche word, but
Yeah.
every part of them and see them the way God sees them,
Yeah. That's
you
a
know?
good point. Yeah.
And that's why it's called marriage. And also, maybe that's why it was in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
in the Bible. The first thing God was just like, okay, I'm going to put this in Genesis because it's so important.
Yeah.
And why it's important. It's a vision for it's God's vision for us.
Mm-hmm.
He knows why he put it there.
Yeah.
And so 3 years in, we are experiencing that vision.
Mm. Do you
Yeah.
think we're experiencing that vision 3 years in?
Absolutely. As soon as we said I do before God, we said yes to those instructions.
Yeah.
I always say marriage is a mission, you know.
You
And
do always say that?
yeah, not to you,
Oh,
but
okay.
when people ask me about marriage, I'm like, it's a mission. I was just telling a friend the
Why
other
do you
day
say that?
because it's a mission. Not I know when people hear mission, it's like I almost said in Chinese, how 辛苦, like
Is
it's
that like a
difficult.
voyage, like Christopher Columbus, like on a mission on a
No,
boat? Okay.
that sounds very a voyage maybe like Christopher, but a mission to fulfill what God intended for his kids and to understand that love. Now we have a baby, and the way we see our
Yes.
daughter,
Yes.
it's a different kind of love. It's that one I would say it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
It's kind of like God and Jesus, you know. Our baby, when we see our baby, we're just like nothing's wrong, just stay the way you are. But in marriage, you grow, you mature. You don't. It's not about changing each other,
No.
because changing is like altering, here and there. But maturing and growing, and then witnessing it and celebrating it every
Yeah.
time, every
Yeah.
year, or
Yeah.
every annual time, or
Yeah.
every 50 years, however long people get married for.
Sure.
And it's good to celebrate it and talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good to always reflect on, checking the pulse of what your life is, where it's headed, especially in a relationship that you want to have last for the rest of your living days on earth.
Isn't that interesting and beautiful? I think that's the only commitment we swear on or speak on with I'm calling it a mission again, where we say through death do us part, a lifetime. Is there something else where we speak on like we'll be doing this for life?
I mean, your relationship with God should be an infinity thing, right? Like,
Okay, yes, that's
and so
different.
committing, it is different, but
But it's not like committing to a career or committing to.
well, some people do. I would dare to say that when you think about getting your 401k plan, you think about retirement, you've if 60% of your actual earthly days are in that job, you've committed your life to that job. And obviously we have the imprisonment, which is something you don't want to endure. So there are several things that we commit to that maybe we don't realize that it's like a life locking thing unless you switch. And a lot of people don't switch that often. I think that it's more less than more, what am I trying to say? It's more often that people stay in one place.
I guess that makes it even more special because we're committing to another person.
That's right.
To each other. Something that is so unknown. We got married in our 30s. Before that, you were different. You were SJ, and now we've committed to live the rest of our life.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Not as Divamile alone anymore. Not
Sure.
as SJ alone.
Yeah.
So it's the commitment comes in different forms.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. So actually, I thought of some questions we could talk about
Okay.
to celebrate, to reflect. And so there's 6 of them, but I
Okay.
think we can just have 3 each.
And I have not seen any of these questions, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I know you love it when I just throw a curveball.
Absolutely.
But let me see. I guess I'll do first 3, and you can do the next 3.
Okay.
First question is, how have you changed? I know I just literally said, in marriage, it's not about changing, it's about maturing. But like, how have you changed though? Have
Can
you
I wipe
altered?
my nose real quick? Off camera.
Yeah, of course. Edit.
All right. Much better. You guys, I might not edit, so it's just going to be, I'm out of frame.
It happens.
How have I changed? In the first year? Is that the question?
First year, in the past 2-3 years.
Which
Past
question
2
is
years.
it?
In marriage, how have you changed?
Well,
It just says that. How have you changed this year? But this year it's a bit too early because it's March.
I'm less selfish.
Okay. Explain more deeds, please.
Expound?
We love our details.
Um, I'm always considering you and now Lilac
Mm-hmm.
in all decisions. My decisions are much more loaded in terms of the overall good of the entire unit,
Mm-hmm.
which is all three of us. And before, I simply just had the freedom. Not long did I have the freedom, but when I
Mm-hmm.
did get that freedom, I was basking in that independence of just like, I am just my own person, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
And it became my identity because I was longing for it for such a long time
Mm-hmm.
that I really thought that the bachelor life and the life of just fly by the seat of my pants, that spontaneity, that was keeping me excited.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then, like anybody else, you adjust to what really matters to you, which I found marriage to be something that really mattered to me, something that I could not live without in this lifetime. And so,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that it's just my level of selfishness has
Mm-hmm.
dissipated in many ways. Yeah.
I guess to respond to that answer, you do a great job at it.
Oh,
To
thank
use
you.
the word selfish, I'm not just saying this because he's my husband, but I think you're one of the most selfless people I know.
Oh, thank you.
And there's the way you treat Lilac and I, well, before the baby came, I always used to think, man, he's so generous. Even the way sometimes he might prepare a meal, he will serve us first. Like he will give the best first. I'm over there sometimes thinking, man, can I just have more of that chicken? But then I think, oh no, he works out. He needs more protein.
Oh, boy.
I mean, either way. So yeah, that's beautiful to hear that it's something that you worked on growing and changing on.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. You read the second one.
Okay.
Number 2.
Let's see.
Let's just go back and forth.
Sure. Number 2 says, what obstacles have we gone through individually, and how has our relationship weathered them?
Individually?
That's what the question says.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm the one that chose these questions, but for some reason, I don't remember that being there. Individually, I would say communicating my feelings. I naturally think rationally. I'm always thinking, oh, this person did that because they probably feel this way, so it's okay, and just move on, But in marriage, you can't do that. You're with the person 24/7,
Yeah.
24 hours. You have to be able to still communicate how you feel about something. And though it could be an obstacle if you don't communicate it the right way. So what I tend to do is pray on it first. Really allow the Holy Spirit to help me understand how to approach you about a certain situation. And sometimes, it surprises me. I would just naturally see your comment, how you do say certain things. I'm like, wow, Lord, you heard my prayer,
And so I've made the adjustment through your prayers,
without
but it
me
wasn't
even
coerced.
mentioning it. Yeah.
Is there any particular, this is not on the list, any particular part of the word that has helped to equip you in those circumstances? Any particular one that comes to mind?
I think just the way we want to plan our life, how we see things. Sometimes,
But my question was, what part of the word?
Through prayer. I mean, just naturally praying, I think.
But is there a specific?
I don't have a specific verse.
Really? Is there a book that you could lead others to that has helped
okay.
you in your prayer closet?
I would say one movie. It's called Pray. Oh my goodness.
What I mean, I'm talking about like the actual Bible, even.
No, I know you're asking me about the word.
But you said movie.
No, it's because you're talking about. When you meant book, I thought you meant a book I've read.
Oh, I meant like a book, a chapter, a book, like the books in the Bible.
I would say one of them. It could be, I think, in James.
Okay.
Where slow to anger.
That's a good one.
Quick to listen. Yeah, I think that has helped to go in the word and say, in this situation, how do you handle it? And just pray on it. And God just like naturally, or not naturally, but he really works.
Do you feel
And that's it.
sometimes he's not answering your prayers in marriage?
No, no. Do you feel that way sometimes?
No, I don't feel a deficit in any way in that regard. I think if I did, I'd be miserable.
Yeah.
And I would probably feel that daily. I would.
Yeah.
And I would be like, Lord, why aren't you answering my prayers? But I
Yeah.
think that the decision to marry you and that decision was a weighted decision that was very well thought out, knowing that no matter what it was, through all of our personal flaws, that wouldn't be something that would be a deal breaker. It's just like when we disagree or something, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
be like, whoa, God, she's just so hard to deal with. I think that most men vet the wives that they choose, and we're like, yeah.
You are really a great husband and friend. You know, I'll tell you this, 3 years of marriage. When I open that door and I come home or vice versa, there's still that excitement. Like my friend is back.
Oh,
Genuinely,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And it's really a gift to experience that. You never think you would,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna cry.
Oh,
But it's real. You know, you only
Yeah.
see that in books sometimes, or you read about it in the Word. But it reminds you why God saw marriage as something important. You know, and when we got married, it was definitely not the way we had expected or dreamt of.
no, it wasn't. No.
But you know, I mean, come on, even though before I met you, who has 3 people? I had 3 ladies praying for my husband. Never met them before.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
God
yeah.
had a purpose,
He
right?
did.
But I remember I was like, okay, when I get married, I'm going to have my father walk me down the aisle.
Yeah.
If you look back into that video, I'm walking over there by myself.
Yeah.
That's not,
Absolutely.
it wasn't planned that way. But deep in my heart, I was like, I'm going to my husband. I'm joining
Yeah.
the purpose that God has always wanted for us.
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget sometimes when you go through things through thick and thin.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have God in the center to remind you of
Yeah.
why you were in marriage.
Yeah. I often think about that. I often think about, I mean, we'll get into the more questions, but I often think about how lonely life felt without you. And I have a song, I probably mentioned this a million times on the podcast, but I'm mentioning it again, called Will I Find Love?
I love that song.
Thank you. And so
Yeah.
what Will I Find Love basically cites is like, if I could trade in the world for you, I'd give it all up. I'd leave it all on the table, because life would be nothing without you. So in my clear view, I love you. It was a precursor to what I wanted. I wanted to be like, there's nobody else that I would want to share life with and really live without. And because that was such a yearning in me, I knew that I had to be intentional about the prayers over time. But I think I just needed to be ready to receive it.
Yeah.
And so years after that song was written, God gave me you. So
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
It's truly a blessing.
Yeah.
And you said it, you had to be ready to receive it. I think that's the thing about marriage too. It's bigger than the deal breakers
Right.
or the arrangements or the connections, the attraction.
Yeah.
It's definitely a spiritual, it's a spiritual, should I say, build up of forming. It's supernatural, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're yet to continue to experience how that looks like, of course, in more years of us being married. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
You got more of these questions.
I do.
Even though we're having a natural conversation,
No.
which I love.
Wait,
but
so you asked me the second one?
I
So
did,
asked you.
I did.
So third one, I think it says, what hardships have happened in our relationship? Did we resolve them, or are there things we still need to work through?
I think every married couple needs to work through things. I think that because people are always striving for betterment of themselves, so that's always going to be something. But the hardships, I'm going to say this in such a diplomatic way. I think the hardship was just getting through the barrier of being alone with you in the beginning. There's nothing else to say but that. I just
Yeah.
being alone with you in the beginning was a barrier because I wasn't able to just have you when I first got here. And so that just became something where I already was isolated to get to know you in a space where not even friends or family really knew the intimate details of our dynamic. And I wanted to keep that sacred. So coming here, I wanted to continue that to cultivate the relationship.
Yeah.
And so because it was kind of interrupted by just, family at times, and maybe people not knowing all their boundaries, I felt like getting over that, I don't think anything else
Yeah.
because no one's cheating on each other. No one's like got a wandering eye.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like finding the forgiveness and love and the fact that any meddling thoughts, any meddling, suggestions that wouldn't deter me from the decision I made to even come here and pursue you. So I think that, yeah, I mean, that was in the very beginning, but since then I don't feel that. I don't feel like there has been, you're always going to deal with, well, I could have done this and that with my career. I could have done this and that with finances, but I think it's nothing unnatural to any couple unless you have $1 billion or $1 million. Either way, $1 million would be great too. But
Always,
I think that everybody works together on those things and they can be improved over time.
Yeah, I think obviously there were challenges, and what was unique about us is we had that alone time while dating.
Yes,
it was
we
like
did.
we were in our own world and asking God to guide us in the process. So it suddenly, when we finally met, it's like it stopped.
It
The
was
twilight.
it was abrupt. It was very abrupt, and I mean,
And we had to
goes to
navigate
show.
differently.
Yeah, you had to navigate differently. You had to mature. You had to just grow up, and whatever fantasy people got out there, which I've noticed, because we'll talk about it at some point. Like there's a lot of dating shows, this and that. These fantasies we got to give up because you got to really see the person. If you want to be with a person, a whole person, some stuff is just not going to go your way, and you have to be able to endure that because you're not always going to, find better. And not that you're comparing your person to somebody else, but you're going to be looking for a lifetime for that perfect setting, that perfect this, and it's just not. It doesn't exist. It really doesn't exist.
It doesn't, guys. It doesn't. And when we watch these shows, sometimes my jaw, I have to push it back up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to review some of those shows just to kind of share our how we would take it, and just maybe
And because we understand now, we are in marriage, we are in a relationship, and what they desire too is what we've been desiring, and we just see it differently now.
Absolutely. And we're not perfect, and we don't have the answers for everybody, but I do think that universally you got to look deeper. It's just the word is just deeper. You got to be deeper.
It's deeper than that.
It's deeper than that. Absolutely. It's deeper than that. So what turns me on about you after all these years together? That's a very intimate question, but I can.
Am I answering that or you are?
Oh, it says, what turns me on about you after all these years together? I guess we can both quickly answer.
Yeah, I mean, like when you use the word turn on, you probably go there, but
you don't have to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got body yaddy, but that doesn't mean anything in terms of like your heart. But I think what really turns me on is the fact that you are so encouraging to my pursuits. That's what turns me on. That's what gives me so much incentive to keep going.
Yeah. Yes. After all these years, being able to encourage you is probably quite significant for me, because I've seen how much the man you've become through that encouragement. And I'm not just like a cheerleader, like, yay, but I've seen the fruits of it. You have so many talents, you have so many gifts, and those talents and gifts are not to celebrate by yourself. God gave me you to be able to witness them, to encourage you and to work together, and I'm seeing them become completed, right? So being able to encourage you and then see something happen overnight, to me it's a miracle. It's like, what? You were able to build that? You were able to form that? It's just a beautiful thing to witness for me.
So is that what turns you on?
I mean, you said encouraging you turns you on.
Yeah,
and I would say it for me to be able to do that,
Yeah.
it turns you on, not just, turn you on, but
Right.
turns you on to do what you're called to do.
But what turns
Yeah.
you on? I'm throwing
Oh,
the
now you're
question.
asking me.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wow. When you, believe it or not, when I see your eyes smiling, I could totally quickly recognize when I'm like, wow, his eyes are smiling
Like
today.
you mean the joy in my eyes
Yes.
due to something? Okay.
It's definitely hot. It's hot. But it does something to my heart. That's like that's the SJ I remember meeting for the first time, or
Yeah.
when something happened that was special or significant. I
Yeah.
see that smile in your eyes. That's one of the things that turned me on. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. Awesome. I think you have to ask the
Oh
next
yes.
question, right?
Okay. Forgot we have
You
like
set
50
it up.
questions.
Right.
All right.
If
So
we don't have 50 questions.
one more, two more actually.
Okay.
What do we want to accomplish individually this next year, and as a couple?
Individually, I would like to sit in a space where I'm creating enough that it provides for my family. And
Yeah.
when I say that, I think I have been reliant so much on being cast, being found, somebody having the opportunity. But I want to really, by God's grace and His intervention in my hands, to be creating those opportunities for myself more and live in that, be provided for with that. And I believe I am on my way, but I want by the end of this year to really bear great fruit.
Yeah. It's time.
Yeah.
Kairos moment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say the same. I hope I can step into a new entrepreneurship dream that's in my heart, and slowly getting there.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out by the end of the year.
We will. Yeah.
But I'm glad that it has started to
Yes, it has.
to show signs of flourishment. Yeah.
And you're the perfect person for it. You have that drive, that tenacity, that people person skill. So that's definitely all feasible and it will happen. You know, I will always encourage you in that. So.
Thank you. Yeah.
She's also my agent, guys. I got a few different agents
I'm a
here.
lawyer, agent.
Right. But just the way that you handled a recent situation, I think we can talk about that quickly because we said obstacles in one of the questions, right?
Yeah.
Diva Mile, I have to shout you out because there was a situation where I did a commercial and I went on set. I made sure to be very clear with the people because they wanted me to do something that was outside of what they hired me for. And I said, well, this is another charge for this additional type of request you have of me. And lo and behold, I followed up. I did the research of the commercial and its release. And then they told me before the release that they used a different actor for what I decided to do, which was a voiceover within the commercial. And when they told me the other actor did it, who's a friend of mine, I was like, okay, can't wait to hear it. The commercial comes out. I'm not only featured as an actor, got marbles in my mouth. I'm not only featured as an actor, I'm also the voiceover artist in the commercial.
Like right
so
there.
So we're like literally doing a checkup for our daughter at the hospital, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm looking at all the videos, the snippets, and I'm like, there's no way. And so you really stepped in and helped me because I don't speak the language here yet, and you really. You were that agent who said, listen, this is not professional. We need to find a way amicably to rectify the situation. And you did that. And now, we're on the other side of it. Thankfully, there was compliance. And I'm just so grateful. If I was in New York, yes, I would have ripped people a new one in a professional manner, and my agent would have fought for me. But just the fact that you're here to cover me is like great.
Of course,
so
always. And the fact that you're able to see that because of language, you're able to see that side of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did wanted to study law for my PhD, but I would have gray hair everywhere. So glad I wore that hat for that situation.
And many situations. Yes.
In many, yeah.
Sorry,
that's
guys.
another episode.
My nose is running. Excuse me, off camera.
Allergies, spring, time, whatever is going on.
Yes.
Yeah. So last question.
Oh, last question.
What three things do you? Well, you kind of mentioned one already.
I did. Okay.
What three things do I appreciate about you?
Don't you answer that?
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
a question to you.
Oh, what three things do I appreciate about you?
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that you are always looking at the you always see the other side of how you can look at a situation.
Mm.
I have very much had to deal with the fact that I am not a slow to anger person as much as I thought.
Mm.
I'm not, and I have to admit that. I'm not. And the Lord is helping me with this, but because I have had to rip myself out of my own mind to be like, are you easily offended? Are
Mm.
these situations always going to take up your day, take up space in your mind, take up space in your
Mm.
heart? And with you, you're like, well, maybe that person just said that and that was that. There wasn't
Mm-hmm.
anything more to it. Or maybe I think you're looking at it differently because of culture. I think you're looking at it differently because you're assuming that that person doesn't want you in the situation,
Mm. Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of offense comes from rejection, and the quality, that one quality of you that you have really balances me out to really reflect on like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm offended. Why? I'm quick to be angry about this. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a volatile, angry person, but
No, because I wouldn't be sitting here.
no, right. But there's still a lot that needs to be done when this is generally speaking, when you are so quick to be offended, you're harboring so much stress in different parts of your body that you
Mm.
don't realize. Talk about aging and getting frown lines. Like
Yeah.
you're harboring that. And then you're having one sided debates and arguments with people that's unnecessary for your well being and your soul. So
Mm-hmm.
you really need to check that. And so that's one. The second thing, the other quality I love about you, right? Is that what the question
Right.
was?
Mm-hmm.
Your heart for people, your the way that you will speak to anyone, everyone and anyone who needs a helping hand.
Yeah, I'm just smiling because
Yeah.
of the recent
Oh
heart.
yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
and God will kind of draw people to you in that way because He
Mm-hmm.
knows that you are equipped to deal with every type of person,
Mm-hmm.
wherever their socioeconomic status is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is really your heart for the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart for
Mm-hmm.
the Lord is something that I think everybody notices about you. You
Yeah.
are the person who's like, oh, there goes the church girl again. You're that person if somebody's looking at it in a negative way.
Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
was that person. I remember
It's so
back,
weird that
yeah.
I've never had someone say that out loud, to me, but it church girl, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, maybe because of where you are in the world. But if
World,
you if
I
you were
think
always
so.
in the States, you'd be like, oh, there's a church girl again. Here she go dumping the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But man, oh man, would I not want it any other way? It's not like
Mm-hmm.
all we do is we put what is it, IV of Bible versus in our no, we live our full lives and we
Mm-hmm.
we guide ourselves by the word. But the fact that I wouldn't want it any other way because I wouldn't have a wife who's covering me in prayer. I wouldn't have a
Mm-hmm.
wife who is just always interceding and praying and asking the Lord, like, how can my husband get a breakthrough? How can he find all of these talents and gifts and cultivate them where someone notices it for the right reasons and doesn't
Mm-hmm.
take advantage and really sees his heart? That comes from you being faithful to your faith and having a
Mm-hmm.
heart for God. So yeah, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since this is the last question, I guess I'll answer it for
Yeah,
you.
please.
I would say one is
You got to look
that,
down for
no, I'm
one?
just confirming the question
Okay.
that I appreciate about you is you are a good friend.
Oh.
You're a good friend, not just a lover as a husband, like Songs of Solomon, but you're a good friend. And where you don't have to be a certain way, you're just SJ. And it's nice to grow more and like, who is this friend that I got married to? I know you mentioned selfish, but I think you're kind. You're kind or at least you have the attributes of a kind person. Just the way you do things, observing how you want our environment to be like, or how you treated my family when we went back home, and everyone that I met, and everyone that I know. There has always been a kind character in that. And then I would say also you are creative. I'm using the word creative because it's like what I've witnessed with you, everything that I've seen you do or touch, have always been, I had a sigh like, wow, that's so nice. That's so special, and that only takes someone who's not afraid to be creative and tap into that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, that
that.
was very touching. You got me with the friend. I'm not crying. I'm just saying. No, it's and that's another thing, right? Like, if you're going to be with somebody for the rest of your life, you want them to notice the things that no one seems to ever celebrate about you, even if just that one person gets it, which is why we say those other things don't matter. Tall, short, fat, skinny. At the end of the day, yes, you have preferences, but does someone notice those things?
Well, two do. God and
yeah.
And
right. Does that person that you're committing your life to, because you're not going to be married to your parents, obviously, you're not, and you're not going to be with your parents for the rest. As soon as you're 18, you're free to go, And so I really do. I'm touched by that, because if anybody listens to my music, referencing it again, not to promote, but because I felt that it was writing songs allowed me, especially in that season of my life, to really express, like, I don't think people know my heart, and I'm going to share with you. And if you listen to it, maybe you'll get what I'm trying to give to the world. And so obviously anything outside of that is not, non-characteristic of who I'm at least trying to portray. Flawed, very flawed as a human. But if you can't get my heart and you're going to be with me forever, then we don't need to be together. So grateful for you, and these 3 years, 3 years.
And more to come.
Yes. And just experiencing my friend every day. What a gift we have.
Yeah.
What a blessing. I also want to take this moment to give love to the family of Daniel Joshua Taylor. Oh no.
Oh, honey. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I just pray that his family's okay.
Yeah.
We just lost him. He was like our age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I say I cherish you, I'm like, wow, you just don't know what tomorrow holds. And so, we lift up his family, his brothers, and all the friends who are, mourning right now the loss of, we called him Josh. And Josh wasn't a very close friend of mine. Josh was family to me because of all the family we had around us, and both church boys and really stylish man, really ambitious brother, great voice, great worship leader. But my heart cries for his family. And so I just want to honor them in this moment, because I just thought, like, wow, when I talked about cherishing you, I'm like, wow, we don't know what tomorrow brings. So, So we thank you for joining us for yet another one more day. I know we dealt with grief in our last episode, and we're dealing with it now, but it is a part of life. And this is one more day that we're thankful to live.
We have each other during those times as well.
Yes.
So happy anniversary, honey.
Yes, happy anniversary. Love you. And we'll see you guys next on One More Day.